Howdy, folks. Wonder Montage Survival here. This is episode 6 of Libby Underhill in Louisville. Uh, this episode is going to be composed of 4 days because there's like a lot of action, but there's also a lot of stuff that we kind of are going to end up flying through as it's occurring. But yeah, I thought this this was a really fun episode for me to get to film. We're looking forward to the helicopter event in this one. That will get to happen. And it is a nasty, to put it lightly. Until then, on this first day, if I'm not mistaken, I decided to go out to the big mansions that I was talking about. In the last episode, I was talking about how this had sort of been one of the areas that I was considering setting myself up in when we had originally spawned in. And I came out here because I have just been scavenging houses so far. We're like probably about 20 days in, right around this point. I'm not too certain. Somewhere in my files, I got screwed up on my day count, and I'm not too worried about it. Like, just so long as they stay organized, then we're a-o good. Yeah. But I mostly decided to come out here so that people who might be curious about them would be able to see what they look like and just how sort of defended this area is. So here it is. Yeah, so there's this long like driveway that any possible zombies that would be entering the area would be funneled through. The area can be a little full right when you get into it, so I do recommend like coming in with a couple of weapons just to be able to clear it out. In general, you don't really want to like move on or move into an area unless you have all of the bits and pieces that you need in order to take it on, I guess would be the easiest way to kind of say it. So yeah, we first are going to clear out a lot of these like larger groups that are kind of just like in the surrounding like outside areas, and this southern home is going to be the first one that I go into. A little difficult finding a doorway. Also, when I came in here, I got spooked, but I couldn't see the zombie, and it was well hidden. She was well hidden right behind the shelf over there. Looking around, we find another just hanging out. And the loot in these has been really good so far. I mean, I can only loot about 3 or 4 of them a day, which is fine because like we fill up all the duffel bags we have like very quickly in terms of like stuff. Now that the water's out as well, I kind of will take advantage of any time that I end up in an area in order to clean ourselves off. I say that and I'll forget it every time now, but that's how that works. These areas have just had a lot of really good, like, especially like non-perishable food, lots of weapons, yeah, just lots of good stuff in them. We got a little surprise as we came out of the garage of the first one. Little group right there just waiting for us, which was very exciting. The second one right here is probably the most ideal spot to set up in. Not only is it like the furthest one back from the driveway, there's also this pond that, I mean, any 3 of these houses can walk over to it, but it's just the most accessible from this house. I have absolutely based up in this house, like, in the past, and it is just a really good spot if you're, like, looking for a way into all sorts of different areas, and you still have easy access to that. what I've been calling the spawn neighborhood, that area that we've been kind of hitting so far in the last, how many? This is 5 episodes. Still not a lot of bags. That's been the one thing. I think I hit all 3 of these mansions on this day. Yeah, I do. I didn't find any duffel bags or anything like that. But we have been hitting we will hit some of the other mansions around this area, and it's surprising to see that there's only been 1 duffel bag so far. I kind of keep forgetting to mention this too, that I do have zombie survivor events turned up to sometimes as opposed to rare. So that will end up affecting like the number of survivor homes that I end up finding. There's quite a lot of them. Not a lot. In a relative sense, there's a lot of them. But it just means more stuff. And I don't know, I'm at a point in this game where I do enjoy, like, I kind of prefer getting more stuff, but I might end up playing a character later on who is a little bit more beholden to finding, like, large amounts of loot. I'm sorry, like, beholden to finding, like, going through more spots, trying to find loot. It took 3 houses, and it's 9 o'clock, so we're gonna head back. Something moving forward is I'm probably gonna have to build a large number of crates in the little storage room that is in the northwest corner of the house. Just because this little room, because we're really running out of space here. Like when I first started out, I was like, wow, we got a nice little room. There's so much storage in here, and it is filling up. Same thing with all of our food. Fortunately, for the food situation, we have a couple more counters, and there's a little laundry room off to the side that could also like take food. I mean, anywhere could be, anywhere's your kitchen, so long as you have the stuff, but you do have to be prepared for that. And I'm also trying to store some stuff out here, just because we have access to that room. And so today I prepare for another day of adventuring. And I believe I'm reading mechanics right now. I can't remember off the top of my head. Also, by the end of this episode, we'll have to probably find Carpentry 5, because I'm approaching the point where I will be reading Carpentry 4, which is just very exciting to me. I'm gonna take a sip of beverage. And so this day, very excitingly, we have the error activity detected. So this is our second helicopter event. If you're playing under standard, like the sort of standard rules of the game, this is not something that you need to be worried about. But because we have helicopter set to sometimes, that first one comes in the first 6 to 10 days, and then the next ones come, I believe it's like 8 to 12 days on average, but I've waited like as long as 15 days for it to show up. And I decided to fast forward through today because I think it's only worth taking the very first one at a slow speed. Yeah. But here was the thing. So I start hearing pounding. And then we start hearing a lot of pounding. And the helicopter keeps flying overhead. Like, it keeps going and going. It's like that battery bunny. And when I'm fairly certain it's kind of past, I begin to pack ourselves up, put our time down. I'm like, okay, it's been 4 hours. And lo and behold, there are a lot of zombies outside. Like, there's a lot of zombies outside. You've heard me complain before about this. This totally happens, where maybe on your first helicopter event there's like 0 or like 6 that show up, and then on the second one you just get absolutely bombarded with zombies. And we'll see over the next couple of, like, yeah, they destroy the back door, which you see right there, and a couple do get inside, which kind of freaked me out. I was like, oh god. They were destroying the water. And so we end up spending the rest of this day running around, yelling, looking for zombies. Over in the field, there's like several big groups of them, and even over the next 2 days, you'll see me driving around, and there's just a lot of them. So that's going to get to be kind of a thing that we work on, is just clearing out this area, because it is scary. It is scary Terry kind of development. There's so many of them. It's awesome. I mean, that's like why I like playing with these settings, is because even with migration and hordes and set like kind of high, I feel like you just don't get enough action. And this is like the helicopter always, even if it doesn't see you, it still is going to fly in your general area and draw just a large number out to you, which is just it's just spooky. It's super spooky. And what was also unfortunate is I end up having to go through quite a bit of water in order to clean up a lot of like my clothes and all the water that we accumulate from this little rain shower kind of disappears quickly. So I would like to, it's another goal in the short term, is get more water storage set up, just because I don't think I have quite enough of it. Which I think I was complaining about that in the last episode or 2 episodes ago. Yeah, I think I want like 4 times as much water storage that we have right now. And you'll see I keep running outside, and I'd heard, sorry, I'm kind of burping. I'd seen several, or I'd heard several zombies knocking on the doors, and then at one I try and fall asleep, and I'm told I'm not safe here. And so I come outside with my flashlight, and I just start yelling, trying to figure out who kind of might be nearby. And there's this guy, and I'm like, that's not really what I think would have been stopping me. And then when I'm over by the RV, there's the like zombie sound, and I'm trying to draw them out. I'm kind of worried that they're like stuck behind the RV. And then we find him. There he is. We squash his head in with our boot. So overall, really scary helicopter event. And I mean, we're still, even after this episode, I mean, I start, I do the voiceover right when I feel comfortable with the number of days that I've, like, recorded. And, oh, this is funny. Yeah, I'll usually do the voiceover right when I feel comfortable with the amount of, like, days that I've recorded. And yeah, so I just don't know if I'm going to immediately go and take care. I'm probably immediately going to go take care of most of the guys in the field. But in order to take care of this missing door, I've just come over to this house. We've already been through this place like several times, and I'm going to get all the door hinges. I'm going to disassemble the doors and get as many doorknobs and door handles, and even just disassemble some more of the furniture in here that we haven't quite hit yet. Just because there's stuff to be had. There's a couple of guys that are drawn out here from the sound, but it's not a whole lot. Once I've filled up 2 duffel bags, I'm like, okay, that's about all I can carry, so we're going to bring these back. And today's just kind of going to be a day where we kind of work on rebuilding the defenses of the base after the helicopter, which I think is the right move. Also, I have the More Carpentry mod. This is a mod that actually shows up in the base game that you can enable, and it just lets you build some more items. After I have built the original door, realized that I do have a couple of extra doors that I could have built, but I kind of prefer the look of the vanilla door just because it has this comeliness to it that the more carpentry doors like don't quite have. Maybe once we get like much higher in our carpentry, or the next time that a door gets destroyed, I'll kind of consider building one of them, but as is, I'm actually very happy with that door. So we're gonna get our splitting axe, and we're gonna get all of our ropes, and we're just gonna make a couple of log stacks, and we're gonna go out and we're gonna chop down these trees, make some log stacks, and we're gonna manufacture our own planks. This is probably gonna have to be something that we do every once in a while, especially if, as we prepare for winter, so that we have enough wood. I'm reading foraging at this point, so I have a little bit of foraging gain, but I also need to finish the book to get that nice ×3 multiplier from the whole thing. I'll be a little further down the line. But it really is crazy just how many groups are kind of knocking on the door, trying to sell us magazine subscriptions, ask us about our politics. I like joking at the beginning sometimes that, oh, we got all these canvassers walking around. As someone who has canvassed, I think it's funny. there's a lot of groups that got dragged in by the helicopter, which, I mean, this is a very fun development, you know, even though we're in Louisville, but we're on the outskirts of Louisville, even though we're still inside the exclusion zone, and, you know, we can still drag good numbers out. Despite the fact that it's a little late, I do decide it's worthwhile to go forward with the repairs that need to be done. I'd rather get them out of the way and then be able to go into tomorrow and trying to think over what I do tomorrow. We'll see when we get there. Oh, I know what we do tomorrow. I'm dumb. I'm even thinking that this was the helicopter day, and I'm like, no, this is a full different day. We're just going to do some scavenging. Our goal is we're working our way with the scavenging into, like, northern Louisville. We're kind of on, we have this large road that we can follow. There's going to be these mansions that we're going to scavenge, and then at the end of those is where the music festival had been happening. And once we're past the music festival, we're in downtown Louisville. Like, the mall will be right there. So that's gonna be right now kind of our ultimate goal is I want to get to the mall, because the mall is just cool. And we also now, listening to this ABS, we have a 5-day sort of time limit before the next thunderstorm comes in. So I'm kind of thinking that is going to be how we gauge just the next couple of steps that I'm going to be taking as we continue scavenging through the area north of the spawn neighborhood, and we work our way into towards the mall. And again, these mansions have been a great source of resources. There's also this this is from a mod, I can't remember which one it is. It's like more vehicle containers or something like that. I have a couple of these installed that they just add kind of cool items. I'll probably be back much later with a better car to pick this thing up. I believe it carries gas, even though it's labeled Jameson. It could be nice if it was full of bourbon, but it's filled with gasoline. Or it's empty right now, but you can fill it with gasoline. And that just seems quite handy. I wish it was full of whiskey. I think of Leo Bloom thinking about the rivers of beer running through the city of Dublin. Fun fact, I had thought I was having difficulties recording desktop audio, and kind of got to the bottom of the issue and accidentally recorded the desktop audio for this episode. I had to turn it off because it was making silly sounds at me after I set up the time lapse. Not only was it a time lapse, it also was a sound lapse of judgment. I also didn't realize that I opened that window. I thought I gave up on it, which is why I didn't go through it, and then I'll come back over here and I kind of notice that it's open. Oops. alarm's going off in the street. Oh, thank God they turned it off. We once had an alarm going off somewhere in my neighborhood, and it literally went off for about 6 minutes. I was laughing at it. Then it finally stopped, and then started up again. I feel like it was raining on that day too. It was like really pleasant outside, and then all of a sudden, you just heard this huge car alarm going off. So we finish looting this house, and we come up to this next one. I'm like, oh cool, okay, we're gonna do this house, and I'm like, oh wait, it's a survivor home. Yes, it's a survivor home. And so my first concern is that there might be a bunch of guys inside of these, because sometimes these places have like 8 or 10 survivors, former survivors, inside. And it only had a few, but these places always have like the coolest freaking loot in them. Like this is the kind of place where you're going to find like really good bags and lots of weapons. I found fishnets, which I'm not going to be wearing immediately, but oh, and I find skinny leather trousers as well, which is like one of the rarest clothing items in the game. Outside of like the reindeer, like the Santa Claus outfits and the reindeer. I can't think of the word right now. It's like the hair thing, the hair bands. There's like reindeer hair bands in this game. So yeah, we're gonna get as much stuff as I have 4 duffel bags now. We're gonna fill up as many of them as I can. And by the time I finish, it's after 6 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna go back home. Not after first cleaning myself, though. I might come back and take some of the more minor loot. Like, I haven't really been playing short blunt. I've been taking a lot of axes. We also discovered that there's another survivor home right across the street, so that's a goal for when we come back to this area, is probably in the next episode we'll go over and hit that one. Because I'm a little loot piggy. I love just gathering as much crap as I can. Just feel like I can never have enough stuff. I also think I might end up going on a shooting spree out here in the field, because there are just so many zombies, and like I'm driving up and there's the 8 that are coming in across our little field here. And as I drove back, I don't know if you guys saw in the time lapse, but while I was driving back, I saw it's like 50 at least that I must have seen hanging out over here, whereas previously there just were not that many. So pretty spoopy overall, but we are just very well stocked right now, almost to the gills. I also need to get started on exercise. I say that now, but I've never really played a character that does a large amount of enough exercise to have made it worthwhile. So I don't know if I will, but we'll see. I also swore that I heard somebody knocking on like a window, and just couldn't find them. But so that's about it. Yeah, the next couple episodes, we're just gonna keep making our way north, trying to figure out where some cool things are. Maybe go shoot. I'm gonna keep promising that, even though I haven't done it. Bless me. I really have to pee right now. I'm happy this video is about to wrap up. We also have a lot of empty cooking pots. Gotta make some stew before all my fresh food spoils. anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope y'all take care. Bye-bye.